quite a few things have happened in the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about it kind of between us, not on the show, and lots of things that we'd probably at the time would have spoken about more in episodes, like the Batman trailer reveal, which finally came out. Mad to think as well that I believe, I mean, it's probably changed a little bit since then, but when that came out, I think the film was only 30% complete.
And it looked like a finished film, to be honest. Looking at the trailer, it looked amazing.
Yeah, it looked incredible. And I mean, I've only spoken to one person who isn't sure about it. However, I also feel that he might be setting his expectations low so that whatever he does see when it comes out, it kind of makes it a lot better. But everyone else I've spoken to thinks it looks incredible. The casting, the dark, gritty feel of it. For me, my personal thoughts are it's the closest thing to a prequel of The Dark Knight that you could actually ask for. Because it's got that same sort of feel. I don't know what you felt.
It has, definitely. I think for me, in a way of what you just said, my expectations were so low, and we talked about this before, that we was unsure about Robert Pattinson and so on doing it. But watching it, it just captures the essence of the Batman I love, that whole sort of grimy thing. And I think, it's not necessarily a thing to be celebrated, but in that trailer, when he's confronted by that gang, and he just goes to town on that guy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's not any sort of, oh, I'm Batman. He ruins him, doesn't he? And that's in a way what Batman's about. He pushes that.
And that was one of my favourite scenes in the trailer, actually, because it nearly would have ruined it for me. And I'll tell you for why. When he says, I think someone says, "Who are you?" And I was just waiting for him to say, "I'm Batman." And I thought, if you say that, it's just such a, it's almost like I was expecting him to say it, and I thought, oh, it's not going to work. And the fact that he said, "I'm vengeance," I was like, yes, you are. And I thought it was incredible. And I didn't even realise that Colin Farrell was going to be playing the character who becomes the Penguin. I don't think he's actually Penguin.
No, I didn't either.
Straight from the off. And as I'm watching the trailer, it wasn't until I read kind of a review of it afterwards where it pointed out where he was in it, and he was this kind of big, chunky guy driving a car. I wouldn't have even recognised it was him. But you've obviously got the Riddler, who I think is going to be the main villain in this, and again a completely different turn on the Jim Carrey version that I always connect with the Riddler, and then Catwoman as well in there. Selena Gomez is her actual. I think that's her who's the character that's going to be, rather than as she becomes Catwoman.
The only thing that makes me worried about like that sort of thing is, and I've found it with even Dark Knight Rises, and I think it was Batman Returns, was it, or something like that. So many villains. I prefer it if it's Batman or whoever plus his nemesis, whoever it is, rather than there's all these sort of villains hanging around. But I guess it depends how they fit it in.
I think there was rumours that there was going to be even more villains in this one. But I mean, I think from the trailer they've kind of revealed what they're sticking with. I think because this story is going to follow closely to more of a detective style story than a superhero vigilante, although there's that element to it. I think there's going to be a lot more on the investigative side of the story. And because it's all around Arkham, I think you're going to see potential spoilers and Easter eggs of other villains. So very interesting, and more to come. There was apparently, and I've not seen it or managed to solve it yet, but there was a riddle in the trailer which one of our listeners spoke to me about, and he's already looked into it and found someone that's cracked it online. And it's something to do with, there was a clip of a letter or a card. I think it was the card that was left for Batman.
Right.
And there was like symbols in it. And there was a code to that. And people have already worked out what the code is.
That's insane. Where would you start in terms of doing that?
People have got more time than they should. Although, under current circumstances, haven't we all? So yeah, and also linked to this as well, Robert Pattinson supposedly tested positive for
Yeah,
coronavirus. So
he's
there's
put
been
the
further
film on hold,
delays.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there's been more hold up on that. Yeah, and also while we was off, there was some sad news.
mm,
Obviously, the passing of Chadwick Boseman, who I know him prominently from Black Panther.
mm.
You and I recently watched the film 21 Bridges, which he was
Brilliant.
the lead in that, and another great
Yeah,
film. He's done a lot more films that I need to check out, which are
yeah,
supposed to be kind of groundbreaking. And a credit to the guy for acting in the films that the Avengers movies, the Black Panther movie. He was suffering from
mm,
his illness at them times, and you wouldn't have known it. And I
no,
and I watched an interview. He was one of the more recent films that he done. That was done, I think, in Vietnam or Thailand. He's co-star in that. I can't remember his name, but he was on the news talking about him, and he said the impression he'd always wanted to work with Chadwick Boseman, but the impression that he got from working with him was that he was kind of he'd almost um, milked the kind of attention around him and all that. And he said he
really.
said I feel really bad for thinking that because he had
Yeah,
people kind of massaging his back in between like shoots and all that.
yeah.
And it turns out it was they
It's
were looking
keeping him
after him.
going,
Yeah, yeah.
literally.
And
Yeah,
he said, and the guy broke down on the news like talking about it, and you feel for him
uh,
because you can form an opinion that quickly, and I think it's honourable of him to say how he felt
yeah,
and how he feels
definitely.
now. But other than that, and just how much of a top guy, and I've seen loads of people talking about it, but very sad news with that.
It's sad news.
43, no age.
Yeah, no, not all.
But more positive news.
Mm,
Not that I want to step away too quickly from that sad news, but something big happened for us while we was off.
mm, that's it.
We've got
M-
merch.
merch, which is
Um, And if you're watching this, you can see it. Me and Matt are sporting our This Week in Metropolis t-shirts, which you can order from Redbubble. We'll need to get a link on our website, Matt,
yeah.
for that. So
That's a very good point, actually. We have shared the link, I think, in posts on Instagram
yeah,
and have put
on
stuff on
Facebook.
there.
Yeah,
T-shirts, mugs, and stickers
yeah.
is what's available at the
At the
moment.
moment, more to
Yeah,
come maybe in the future. But
exactly.
yeah, you can go and find the whole range of colours that you can buy these wonderful t-shirts in. But yeah, that was